Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
What's going on, guys? So today I was just scrolling through Facebook and I saw something from Uber Facts that caught my attention, talking about how there are mass shootings and there's been 212 this year in less than 100 some odd days, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna talk about this because it's gonna kind of cause some problems with people and spread misinformation. So I decided to make the video on the topic of mass shootings and why more gun control will not help. I'll be linking all of my sources in the description so that you can do your own research on this topic. So, as I was saying, I saw a post on Facebook today talking about the US has seen more than 212 mass shootings this year. So it got me thinking, how many mass shootings are seen annually in the US and what changes have been happening over the years? So to start with, I started to do a little research on the subjects. Looking at gun violence archives shows that in 2020 there were 611 known mass shootings in the US, far more than we had this year. However, the number has been climbing since 2014 when it was only at 269. Since we are on the topic of deaths by gun, let's take a look at the totals. The following order takes place from 2014 to 2020. So from 2014, there were 12,418 deaths, 13,537 deaths in 2015, 15,112 deaths in 2016, 15,679 in 2017, 14,896, I think, 19, 15,448 in 19, so the other one was 18, and 19,411 in 2020. Now that looks really high until you look at the suicides by guns, which, again, same order, 21,386, 22,018, 22,938, 23,854, 24,432, 13,941, and 24,156. This starts to show that while there are a lot of deaths by malicious, accidental, or willful misuse of guns, the number of suicides are almost double each year compared to those. What does this show us? It shows us that there might be a correlation with mental illness and gun violence. Now we're starting to see the bigger picture, but let's look at some more data. Looking at the most recent stats of 2022, a vast majority are on the east side of the U.S. So let's take a look at Mississippi, since it has some of the most lax gun laws in the United States. They have 23 recorded deaths this year alone, where California has the strictest gun laws with only 5. Well, that starts to look like we might be wrong, or does it? Out of the mass shootings in Mississippi, only 20 people were killed between 2009 and 2022. If we look at California, on the other hand, they had over 87 killed with at least 53 injured, and that's not even counting the big one in Las Vegas in 2017 with 60 killed and 411 hurt. Then it starts to look more on the lines of stricter side, having more mass shootings with more deaths than injuries. Starting to look like stricter laws might not be the best option. What a lot of people want to do is, when they hear high numbers in a year, is completely disregard any patterns from the past because the data doesn't agree with their arguments. This is why you should always do your own research before making a judgment that could do more harm than good. So these are my thoughts on the matter, and it is very important to understand that having guns is a right. Does it need to have guidelines? Absolutely. Most people who argue that we need stronger gun controls are the ones who have not looked into the topic themselves and haven't done their own research on the matter to see the big picture. Most people want to believe anything they are told just because they are told by people they trust, whether it be family or a news outlet, or just a random news post on the internet. The biggest things that I've heard is, we need to do background checks on people before they can buy a gun. Well, guess what? In most states, it is required to have a background check to legally purchase a gun. On top of that, it is illegal to sell a gun without one. So I can hear you asking, well, how do all these people keep getting guns when they're obviously bad people? Well, how does anyone get anything illegally? The people who are getting guns illegally are the ones who don't care about laws anyway. Do you think making laws stricter are going to help stop them? No, it's just going to make a larger markets for arms dealers to sell to. It does not matter what you do, they are still going to get guns. Stricter laws will just make it harder for law-abiding citizens to get and own a gun legally. Let's take a look at the shooter in the Las Vegas tragedy. Stephen Paddock was a real estate investor with a history of mixing Valium with alcohol before the shooting. There were a ton of red flags he should have been watched. His gun buying spiked from October 2016 to September 2017, with a total of over 55 guns being bought in that short time. This is compared to the 29 guns that he bought in the past 30 years before that. The next big red flag was when he bought his girlfriend a ticket to her home country of the Philippines and wired her over $100,000 to, quote, buy a house there. There were plenty of red flags to show that something was going to happen, yet nobody did anything about it. The girlfriend didn't think to get him looked at by a psychologist. His friends didn't think to. His family didn't notice these red flags. They just kind of assumed, hey, maybe he's going to be collecting guns now. But anyway, where was I? A simple psych evaluation would have determined he was not in the right mindset to legally own a gun at that point. Yet nobody bothered to have him looked at, and once the strange things started to happen, all in all, it should have been investigated. But let's be real, this was a tragedy that could have been prevented if anyone around him knew the signs. My message to take from this: gun and gun laws are not the problem. The lack of mental health checks and understanding of mental illnesses are to blame. In most shootings, there is usually a mental illness to blame, as well as nobody noticing the red flags because the education on mental health in the U.S. is very lacking. What needs to change is there needs to be more focus on mental health and getting help when needed. The reason our founding fathers made sure that we would always have the right to bear arms was so that we could protect ourselves from both foreign and domestic threats. If you keep pushing the blame on guns, you are going to get a world where there are more guns on the street illegally than there are legally, and more bad people having them than good. So please stay safe, do your research, and if you feel like you or someone you know are showing signs of mental illness, please get them help. This has been my take on the popular media today. Thank you for listening, and subscribe for more to come. Later.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.